What's up, you guys? I'm Natasha. Today we're going grocery shopping in the garden, so let's get into it. This is the kitchen garden at Shepherding Peppers Farm. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm really excited you're here. If you're a returning viewer, I'm really glad you're here too. I am so excited to show you the garden today. I've been itching to get out here all week. I haven't been able to because it's been raining nonstop for the entire last week, which, although it has made me sad from the standpoint that I haven't been able to come out here and do a bunch of stuff, the fact is the garden looks like it has grown 4 weeks worth of time in the last week. So everything looks really outstanding. The pests have started to come back. I did sneak out for an hour the other day and we had a break in the raining window and fought off some bugs trying to attack the garden. So it's definitely that time again. But I'm really excited to take you around and show you everything that is growing right now and the huge difference that this last week has made in the garden. I don't even know where to start. We're gonna start over here, I guess. We're gonna start on this side and work our way back. I need to empty the water out of these trays again. So I have trays along the garden of plants that still need to go in, and they're saturated. So I need to empty these out before I go inside today. So this is bed number 1. We have 18 of these beds. They're 24 feet long, and I've labeled them 1 through 18. So this right here, this is coriander or cilantro. It is going to seed. You can see the little seed heads right there. At this point, the actual green leaves that we would eat as cilantro can get a little bit bitter. So most of the time people will save the seeds for replanting or for the purpose of using coriander as a spice in their kitchen. These are different types of cauliflower. Most of them are snowball cauliflowers. You can get a few different varieties in here ever so often because I'm me when I'm planting. We have a row of Nance carrots, onions, and then we have beets that are kind of sprinkled in over through here. This is ragweed that I'm just constantly pulling out of the garden. But yeah, the cilantro is going to flower because it's hot. I mean, it's 8 in the morning. It's already 80 degrees out. The onions are doing okay. This one's starting to get a little bit more meat on its bones. Several more weeks before the onions are ready, so hopefully they just continue to grow really well. This is a Walton broccoli. At this point, because it's so hot, I am expecting a lot of this to just go to seed, and that's fine. We did get a pretty decent second harvest of brassicas this spring, which is quite unusual for us. So I'm going to be happy and grateful and take what I can get. I'm going to harvest this right here. This is a snowball cauliflower. It's got a little bit of bug damage. I'm hoping I'll be able to, oh no, it's not bug damage as much as it's separating. So we'll still be able to eat that. And then we've got another Walton broccoli right here. I'm going to harvest this because it is getting a bit, which is my favorite word, foofy, meaning the blooms are starting to open. So we're not having that really tight head of broccoli anymore. It's starting to separate and try to go to seed. So we will harvest that. These are weeds. Once this bed is turned over, by turned over, I mean I'm going to harvest a lot of the stuff that's in this bed since it is a lot of winter type things. I do have a whole other set of peppers that I need to get into the garden. Obviously, I have the plants that you just saw right there. And I have, what's it? Peanuts. I need to do our peanuts. We do peanuts every year. Spanish red peanuts are one of my favorite things to grow. They grow really, really well here. So I have several things that I need to get in the garden and get done. Now, you might think with all of these raised beds, I have enough growing space. In my mind, you can never have enough growing space. Last year, we were doing quite a bit of stuff in the perennial garden, which we are redoing right now. I'm in the process of digging it out to put the pool in there. And so Seth and I have been doing a lot of talking about how to expand because we're always expanding. And we've got about 3 acres in the back. Our property is very rectangular. So if you actually pull up to our house, it doesn't look like we have any sort of land. It looks like just your regular house in a neighborhood almost, except the houses are spaced decently far apart. But it looks like a kind of a neighborhood sort of situation-ish. But anyways, like our property is all rectangular with all of our acreage. So then you see like the garden and the kid space over there, which is going to have the pool and all that stuff. And then you have all this blank acreage in the back where we have a handful of sheep. We used to do chickens and pigs. We did raise our own animals for meat in the past. We're not doing that this year. We're trying to not overdo it. We've got 5 kids. Our youngest is 4. Our oldest is 13 going on 40. So we're trying to adjust our time management so that way we're really enjoying the time that we get with our kids while they're young and we're not overdoing it. Plus, homesteading was always meant to be a community. we were always meant to not do everything ourselves. We're meant to work with others and be involved in others. There's an airplane flying overhead. So with that, we're good with working with our community and not doing it all ourselves. So we're talking about taking a fourth of our pasture area, which is about 3 acres, and turning it into a berry perennial spot and having some fencing in there where we have blackberry bushes and raspberry bushes, and I can move some more of our perennial things in there. And even in the past, I would use a lot of the space over here to grow corn and squash and melons, and I'm trying to get it all into this garden this year, which is hard because we grow the majority of our family's fruits and vegetables, and you actually consume a lot. And when you have a family of 7, you consume even more than that, and we grow our own teas and things of that nature. So when you're doing all of the food production like this, it's never a bad thing to have more space. So although this seems like a lot, it's harder. It's harder than you would think it is. And the point of what I'm getting at is I have more things that need to go in the ground. So the brassicas that aren't getting used, I am going to go ahead and harvest them so that way we can start the turnover process a little bit more. Now I will be leaving the carrots in here and the beets. These are Detroit red beets. Waiting to see how much of a root we're going to get on these. That's not bad. That's a tiny little beet. I'll take it. And this is a little baby cabbage. I'm going to harvest that. This right here is flowering tatsoi. We have enough tatsoi seeds, so I've been pretty much just leaving this as a sacrifice plant for the bugs, because the bugs will attack the brassicas before they attack everything else most of the time. So as such, we're leaving that at the moment. But I've got plants that need to go in, and since I can't use that space this year, I'm really trying to. It's hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check on these plants on this side. We're going to see if there's anything that is ready to harvest, and if it is, we're going to harvest it, and then we'll work our way around to the next area. I've been enjoying harvesting the beets a little bit on the smaller side and adding them into salads and things like that. Plus, since they are a little more compacted, it doesn't hurt to thin them out a little bit. Like this one right here, if I pull this one, which has a decent beetroot on it, I can harvest this and let the other one grow bigger, which I feel like is a great system. Look at that one. That one looks great. Good job, beets. We can check on these carrots, but I'm really not expecting much from these. And they are closely together, so we will have to thin these in the near future. I'm hoping the dahlia tubers over there don't get too mad at the fact that they've gotten some really intense rain. I added sand to the beds to try to help with excessive rainflow. So I'm going to take some of these baby carrots like this, because if I thin this bed out, it will help the carrots to grow bigger and larger. So yeah, even though these are small, you still get a good bit of a harvest. And having this baby carrots, and I think that's great. Waste not, want not. That one grew super weird. Oh, it's because it's a purple onion. Oh, shucks. Well, whatever. I'll take it inside and I'll use it throughout the week. I have some good salads this week. Alright, so those are good. For example, this is an early Jersey cabbage. It's just getting damaged. I'll give that to the sheep. This one right here, I could probably take inside and use some of the leaves because it's not too damaged. So that'll be good. Another one over here. And the more we thin this out, the more I'll be able to use the space, which is great. And I don't need to worry about letting these ones go to seed as much because we have some in the back that are going to seed. So, as we work our way down, I have one surviving moonflower on this side. I thought there was none. I have moonflower on the other trellis as well, right in through here. And I could transplant them, but I don't want to risk anything happening to them, so I'm just going to leave it. This right here is flowering catmint. This makes a wonderful herbal tea. I would like to do a video very soon, like this next week, on harvesting herbs for tea in the garden. So I'll leave that for the next harvest. Now if we come around through here, you're going to see the back side of the same trellis. This lettuce in through here is green leaf lettuce. It is definitely trying to bolt. You can see this one right here. You can tell when it's bolting because it starts to kind of cone up and gets this poofiness in its center. This is it trying to go to seed, and I will happily let one of these lettuce plants go to seed. Probably this one right here because it's making the most progress. So I will let this one go to seed. Now I will be able to put something else in this trellis in the near future because the peas don't last for a super long time out here. But I want to harvest the rest of the lettuce, and even though we harvested some peas the other day, I'll come through and I'll check these and harvest any peas that are ready to go. But yeah, we'll harvest a good bit of this lettuce because I'm ready to swap it out with a new lettuce and see how it does, because this is a more shaded side of the garden. This side right here gets less sun than over here, so trying to be strategic about where we're planting our lettuce, and hopefully it works out. Now this bed is one of my favorites because of the fact that it has some of my favorite things in it. So right here, this is all chamomile. We did come through and harvest a good bit of it not too long ago, as you can see by the blank spaces, but I would like to harvest all of it because chamomile tea is one of my favorites. Then as the chamomile dies back, we'll be able to see a lot more of these dahlias that are in here. Our dahlias are perennial in our growing zone, so I can leave them in the ground. They do not appreciate all the water though. These are blackjack dahlias, which are some of my absolute favorites. And then we have a few radishes that are going to seed. Oh, this one's really lovely. Look at that. That's really pretty. The netting is on here to help support the dahlias as they grow. Oh my gosh, my stomach is growling. I'm gonna have to eat some of the garden stuff. And there's pretty. This is an unwinds variety of dahlia, so we're gonna harvest some of those dahlias as well. And then there's more radishes in through here, and this is chamomile that we started in the spring, whereas this chamomile, which is much, much larger, all of this chamomile was thrown into the ground, meaning I just came through this last fall and sprinkled the seeds into the ground, and then it grew and it's done really, really well. There are some gladioluses in there too, so it should be really pretty as it continues to grow. I'm gonna grab some more harvesting stuff. All right, so very minimal on the pea front, but that's okay. Now I could spend hours and hours and hours harvesting the chamomile. There is a tool that you can get for the chamomile. It's kind of like this hand rake, but you have fingers. I don't know. With this much chamomile, who knows? Maybe it would be worth it. Especially if your chamomile is wet. But it's supposed to rain again this afternoon, so I either do it now or do it later, but it's going to be damp whenever I do it. This may be one of those circumstances where I've decided that it might be worth it to invest in one of those tools. Just because I have this weird thing about my hands. I don't like having wet hands. This is going to sound really OCD. But if your hands get wet and then the lines that are swollen from the dampness of your hands rub together, I have a really big issue with that. Seth doesn't like the way newspaper feels, and I don't mind that, but I hate like waterlogged hands. If my hands get waterlogged, nobody can touch my hands until they dry. It's a weird thing, but I dislike the texture of it. It bothers me so much. So even harvesting these, because the little heads absorb the water. Oh, well, and it's going to do best in the spring here. It's going to grow, the chamomile, it's going to grow over the winter and then do best in the spring. So I may invest in that tool. We'll see. I'm going to harvest some of these dahlias, which the scissors are in my pocket. Yay me. You can see this right here. This is a gladiolus that's growing. Now, the more you harvest your dahlias, the more they will grow, which is nice. So they're definitely a cut and come again variety. It's sad thinking of not having them for a little while in the garden, but I know they'll come back and they'll be even bushier. So it's not a bad thing. I do try to snip them low because that's wherever you cut it, the stem, that's where it's going to branch out. So if you want a bushier plant, you don't want to cut your first set of blooms really high because that's when it'll start to bush out and then your stems can get shorter from that point. I'm going to remove any excess foliage. You can do more inside. And then something that is recommended if you're doing your flowers for indoors is to really quickly put their stems after you've cut them into boiling water, once you take them inside, and that will help preserve their shelf life. Before we take these inside though, I'm going to put these in a glass of water or a mason jar of water. Being bit by bugs, which I don't appreciate. I am that person who always gets bit by mosquitoes. Always. We did blood typing as one of our homeschool projects. Don't worry, I didn't force my kids to do it. I'm not a psycho. But I asked them if they wanted to, and I volunteered to go first. And when they saw that it didn't hurt that bad, they're like, okay, I want to do it. And most of my kids have their dad's blood type, except for Natalia. She has mine. So I'm going to be curious if she gets bit more by mosquitoes. They're all O's, I believe. O positive. Whereas I'm A positive. So, fun facts. I bet you weren't expecting to get my blood type on this garden tour, were you? Oh, brother. We're going to do lettuce right at the end. Don't let me forget. That way we can ensure that we bring lettuce inside because we're out and I don't know what to do without a salad a day right now. Now, right in through here, these are Harameju melons. They're a little closely planted together, so I do need to come through and thin these in a little bit. And then this is calendula right in through here. Got more onions up in the front. And then these tomatoes are Juliet tomatoes. They're a little wild at the moment, but that's okay. You can see we're starting to get little green fruits down there, which is super exciting. They could pretty much always use a pruning at this point. Just like the weeds could always use a pulling. That is gardening, and as the season goes on, I will lose the battle, and that's okay. Just remind me that I said that it's okay. All right, so this is pretty interesting. Sometimes you'll see these white roots on your tomatoes or these white nubs on your tomatoes. In a tomato's natural growing condition, it's going to grow along the ground, and just like squash, as it grows along the ground, will put out new roots to attach to the soil as it lengthens. So will tomatoes. So if given the opportunity, a stem is exposed to soil or it thinks it's exposed to soil, it will start to put out new root nodules. So that's what that is. Those are just root nodules. There's nothing wrong with your tomato if you see that. See, another beautiful set of Juliet tomatoes. I really hope that the bugs leave them alone. Otherwise, I will take drastic measures and net the whole bed. I'm not joking. I'm going to get a substantial tomato harvest this year if it's the last thing I do. These right here are hyacinth vines, and then we have some gazania flowers in the front down here. This is a volunteer zinnia. I've got several of those going on. And this is sweet Genovese basil. Now over here on this side we do have bush beans, but we'll get to those in a second. This trellis does also have hyacinth vine, but it's on the opposite side. And then this is a random blue cream tomato that got mixed in with everything else. And these are Grandiero tomatoes. This is a hybrid variety of tomato. We're starting to see some fruit here, and I'm going to stock these like a crazy ex-girlfriend to make sure that these do not get damaged. I feel very strongly about this. Some more volunteer zinnias. This right here is dill. I'm going to harvest the dill. That sounds like anything. I'm going to harvest the dill. I don't know why that's funny to me. But yeah, dill. Marjoram. This tomato plant just said no. It just gave up on its life and said no. It could be because there's a spot in the soil that isn't draining very well. It could be because something ate its roots from underneath. I don't really know what its problem is, but I can't do anything about it, and I have other ones. I have to just kind of accept it. But this whole trellis is Grandiero tomatoes, which is a sauce type of tomato, and I'm really hopeful and paranoid about getting a good tomato harvest, as you can tell. This is Popolo right here. And these are Morningstar flowers. I need to move these because these are a perennial flower. I intended to use these more for landscaping, and I forgot and just put them in the dirt, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have to dig those up before the roots take too much. Now over here, this is a hybrid melon variety. This melon we grew last year. It ended up being a cross-pollination between a couple of melons that we grew, and we don't know what it was, but it did end up being one of our favorite melon varieties in the garden. And because of that, we are growing the seeds again. It's sandwiched by itself with the same variety of melon, the same seeds. I'm hoping that we could stabilize it into a new variety of melon because it was so good. But I don't know if we'll be able to, because melons do take 3 to 8 generations, not just melons, but hybrids in general take 3 to 5 generations to stabilize. And you have to ensure that they're being pollinated by the exact same hybrid variety. I would really like to be able to stabilize it. It's good to have dreams. All right, so that's all in through here. Eventually these will get tall enough that I will be able to attach them to this trellis. Now in the front we have Blue Lake bush beans. The bush beans go all in through here. And there are peppers hidden behind these, which is okay. You can see a Cubanelle pepper right there. And there's another one down there. This tomato needs to go on this side of the trellis. I did not plant any tomatoes on this back side. The tomatoes are just planted on the far side right there. So there are peppers in here because bush beans are basically going to set fruit. You'll harvest it and then they'll be done. And because of that, I can have all these bush beans here. They'll provide a bit of shade for my peppers, which although it isn't great, these peppers will still grow. And when I pull these bush beans out, they'll just absolutely take off because it'll free up a lot of the space and the light that they have. So over here you can see we've got a teeny tiny pepper. What variety is this? This is elephant ear peppers. Here and here, I mean, look at this. This is an elephant ear pepper right here. Yeah, I'm trying to move these back so you can see them. Elephant ear peppers get enormous and they turn a beautiful red color. But look at how big that is already right there. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna explain to you why. I love peppers. I love peppers the way that a lot of gardeners seem to love tomatoes. I feel like it's a rare thing to hear about another gardener loving peppers the way that I do. I could probably go on a rant about why I love peppers. I feel like they're so versatile. If you like spicy food, you have a whole selection of amazing spicy peppers with a huge range that you can make different hot sauces out of and just like make your dishes spectacular with a tiny bit of heat that you can get from a poblano pepper all the way up to really punching you in the gut with something like a habanero. And hot sauce goes on everything. But then you have sweet peppers, and you have a variety of different sweet peppers that can be a mild sweet pepper with not much flavor, but that adds a really good crunch to a really great chili. Or you can have super sweet red peppers that you can eat and bite into like an apple. And there's just, I love peppers. I love them. And you make them seasonings, and then you can put them. I love peppers. They're my favorite. So, and there's so many different exciting varieties. Anyways, a lot of gardeners will tell you that the way it works with peppers is you plant the pepper plant, you let it grow, and you let it produce fruit. And the majority of the time, we grow peppers for the purpose of letting them turn red. Some people will harvest them green with the intention of having green bell peppers and things like that. But a lot of peppers, when we see them on these packages, on seed catalogs or on websites where they're advertising seeds, you see a lot of red peppers. So the majority of people will grow the peppers, let them turn red, they'll get a harvest from it, and then they'll hope to get what's called a bumper crop, which is where you harvest the fruit and the plant is kind to you and gives you a second crop. And so each pepper plant is estimated, so say you have like an elephant ear pepper, which I'm holding, you're estimated, if you follow that process, to get somewhere like 6 to 8 elephant ear peppers, which is fine, you know, and then that's possibly with a bumper crop. You don't really get a lot of them. I'd have to try to remember all the ins and the outs of it because every pepper is expected to produce a different amount. But let's just say that as an estimation. I take a very different approach to my peppers. You have to keep in mind that any plant's goal is to reproduce seed so that way it can continue its line and then die. That's its goal. Annuals are going to set fruit so they can set seeds so they can die. Now that doesn't mean they're going to die immediately, but the weather's going to come, we're going to have a frost, the plant's going to die, and genetically they're trying to produce seeds for the future. So if you are growing peppers And I can't grow them year round here. This is not growing zone 10 where I don't ever get any freezes or frosts and I can grow peppers as a perennial, which, by the way, super jealous of you. You are awesome. I wish I had that, but I cannot do that. I cannot grow peppers year round here. So I have to take advantage of my growing season, which is pretty long. Okay, making sure my mic is on, because I'll be very sad if this rant is missed, because I feel like I'm teaching you and I'm excited. I want to share my knowledge. So the way that we approach our peppers is at the front half of the season. So anytime now between June to July, I don't know, somewhere in that range, it just depends. I'm going to spend the bulk of my time harvesting my peppers green. And I'm going to obviously eat green peppers. I'm going to make homemade Subway sandwiches and eat them. I'm going to dip peppers in ranch. I'm going to stuff them. I'm going to eat the heck out of some green peppers. And then I'm going to preserve them. I'm going to cut them up and dice them and slice them. I'm going to dehydrate them. I'm going to freeze them. And I'm going to work up a huge batch of green peppers to put in the freezer and up in my dehydrated pantry. So that way I can use green peppers for the rest of the year. And what you're doing when you're constantly pulling green peppers off of a pepper plant is you are repeatedly sending signals to that plant that, hey, I'm not able to produce seeds, so I need to go ahead and grow and produce more. So our pepper plants are going to get larger and larger and larger. And the entire time they're going to produce more and more and more peppers until I have this large pepper plant that has produced a ton of green peppers. And at that point, when I know I've preserved all the green peppers I could stomach, I'm going to start letting them turn red. And then I'm going to make homemade spicy paprika and homemade sweet paprika. And I'm going to make homemade hot sauce. And I am going to make canned red peppers and oil to use. Oh, I'm going to eat so many fresh red peppers, and I'm going to have so many peppers, and I'm going to love every second of it. I highly recommend following that process. I had breakfast. I had to go inside really quick and show up my pepper. People wanted me to share. I did not. Listen, I'm the biggest sharer to a fault. This is my first pepper of the season. I don't ask for a lot, but I do ask for this. Well, these seeds, these are not going to be viable. Pepper seeds are viable when they come from ripe red peppers. Some people have said that they've had minor success with planting unripe pepper seeds. And although that's not the way it's supposed to work, you never know. So I always, I'm like, okay, there you go. You never know, right? Now that I've just thoroughly enjoyed myself with that pepper. So some of the beans are just now producing blossoms, but there are some beans in the garden that have started to fruit. So you can see this one right here. We're going to let these get bigger. Obviously, these are too small. The bugs are already all over them. I'm hoping that we can get a decent harvest. I don't want to have to net my whole garden. That just seems unfair and cruel, like cruel and unusual punishment. So I'm not going to harvest this pepper right here. This is an elephant ear pepper. I'm not going to harvest this teeny tiny thing. I will let it get bigger before I will harvest it. But it's nice to know that it's there. So yeah, all of these are Blue Lake beans. So this right here, this is insect eggs. This is not good. This is not something we want. You can see the leaf is even damaged. So we're going to go ahead and smush those. There are a few onions that are planted in through here. Granex onions. And then if we see any other, oh, here's a radish that was hidden in there. We'll go ahead and harvest that guy. That looks nice. But yeah, lots of different, oh, and this right here is basil. I'd have to smell it to know what kind it is. It's lime basil. I have lime basil all over my garden because of the fact that I let it go to seed and it's just everywhere. So lots of plants in there. I'm mostly looking to see if there's any other peppers that have fruit. But just in case there isn't, these right here, these are Venezuelan tiger peppers. These are some of my absolute favorites. This is a pimento pepper, and this is a gatherer's gold right there. Now, all the peppers that go the rest of the way in through here, these are all going to be Venezuelan tiger peppers because I absolutely love them. There's another large radish. Now, I do need to trellis as much of this up as possible. So we'll need to do that. See, these beans are a little bit larger. That's exciting. Look at that guy. That looks great. I'm thrilled. Look at that. So I could even pick some of these small if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'd like to let those get a little bit bigger before we harvest them. These are volunteer zinnias. If they start overcrowding my peppers, they will be removed because the peppers are more of a priority than anything else. And this is a volunteer celosia. But yeah, look at that green bean. That's super exciting. I'm gonna eat it. It's delicious. Basil flowers in my hair. No, I'm choking. No worries, I'm fine. If you can tell, the garden is my jam. I love it here. There's this light little breeze going on right now, and I bet you it's because it's supposed to rain soon. I will stay in this garden up until it is pouring because I just leave me to the garden. So down here, this is a little batch of bush beans, blue lake and contender bush beans, but I have peppers in cups all along here because you can see how wet the soil is, and peppers do not like wet soil. They will die. They will freak out and die because they hate having waterlogged roots. So you can see we're already starting to have some leaves that are dropping, and this one is just like, nope, I'm too small, I can't handle this. Its leaves are turning black. The bigger ones will be able to handle more, but the younger ones are not going to be okay with this. And so instead of having them sit in those silver trays, since these do have holes at the bottom, you can even see a little bit of a root coming out of that one. I've been putting them on the dirt to help them drain out. These are my next set of peppers to go in. All right, so all in through here, bush beans are starting to come through. And when this section of bush beans is done and through here, I will have more things that are ready to go in. It's kind of a continual cycle. Now, the majority of the peppers that are going down on this side, so the left half of the bed, these are Capia sweet peppers, which is a type of sweet paprika pepper. Now, that's more of up this way, but right here going down, these ones are Spanish giant peppers. They look a lot like Wonder Bells, but just larger. This is my first year growing the Spanish giants. I'm excited to see how they do. You can see the discoloration on these leaves. This pepper is not happy with the excessive amount of rain, which is also why I plant my peppers closer together than most, because when it rains here, we get torrential downpours, which is why the soil is so saturated. Even though there's a lot of sand in the soil, it's just saturated. We'll have dry periods where we don't get any rain, but then we'll have these weeks where we get nothing but rain. And the peppers really dislike having waterlogged roots. Because of that, I have to plant my peppers closer together so that way when these giant rains happen, they can help absorb the water in the soil next to one another. It's one of the biggest differences that it has made in the garden. It also helps the plants to have support as they grow, where I have to do less netting or trellising with the tomatoes, less support cages that way. It works for where I'm growing. If I was in an area that didn't get a lot of rain, where it was very arid and dry, I wouldn't need to plant my peppers so close together. But because this is where we are growing, I have to grow my plants in accordance with what the weather and the climate is like here, which means if I'm growing in a desert, I'm going to take a very different approach to how I grow these. Alrighty, so those are the espanadas, and then these are the Capia sweets. This is, I don't know what this is. This says it's a torticero, but it's not. It actually, sometimes they just get mixed up. I'm going to try this in a second. But these are Capia sweets. You can see this light green color. It's really beautiful. This guy down here, I'm going to go ahead and take that because it's tiny and it's in the dirt, and I can. So, and Capia sweets will get bigger than this, but I know roughly the sizes that I'm expecting these fruits to grow to. So I can take these while they're green, and then I can let them turn a really beautiful, brilliant red when I'm ready to make them into paprika when the plants have gotten taller. I can't believe we're harvesting peppers. I'm so excited. Don't mind me, I'm just going to hyperventilate for a moment. Enjoy. Oh my gosh. I just feel like that's early. I'm just happy. Yay. I'm going to come inside and have basil in my hair. My husband's going to laugh. He expects it at this point. Alright, so more Capia sweets all in through here. There's a few volunteer carrots every so often. This right here is Malabar red walking spinach. It'll climb up the trellis. These leaves are a wonderful spinach substitute. They'll grow all throughout the summer. They're very soft, very tender. They're great. They'll come back year after year. Some more capias. There's some calendula up in the front, and you can see the spinach just coming in. It's ready to go. Now, there's a little batch right here of California Wonderbells. Oh, there's a little Bumble. His wings are wet. Poor little guy. Oh, I guess your wings weren't that wet. Okay, so in through here, these are mostly Wonderbells that we've got going on, and then we have a whole row of Trellised peppers. Those look great. Yeah, so all of these are Trellised in through here. Look really good. And then over and through here, you can see our beans. I would prefer they not lay in the dirt. They got really kind of battered from all the rain that we've been having. So hopefully they stand back up and they start to do okay, because I don't want these rolling around in the dirt and getting damaged. Oh, look at these guys. Those look great. Those look really, really good. Yay. I would say, honestly, with them being that size, we could harvest those in a day or two. That's so awesome. There's a couple in here that I could already harvest like that. Yay. Oh, it's like Christmas in the garden. So maybe I'll come back through and harvest a few of these. I don't know. It's so hard. Because I want to let them get big, but at the same time, I want to take really hard right now is most of the time I come out in the garden first thing in the morning because it's not as hot. And I'm not able to do that right now because they are doing work on the pool. And it's only for like 6 weeks, but at the same time, and I could come out and do things, but then you have people staring at you and it just feels weird. So I don't. I'm just gonna sweat to high heaven in these next videos, these next few weeks. They're not out here this morning because it's expected to rain pretty soon. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go shoot this garden tour while I have a chance. It's already real. This is tarragon, lime basil, white horehound. These are African daisies. They look so lovely. And then we've got some kitchen sage. Those are pixie lupins over there. These are McKenna giant columbines, and I just think these look so epic and outstanding. I really like these a lot. I'm probably going to take a few of these in the house. Got some poppies coming up. Northern lights, snapdragons, some really beautiful heads of lettuce in here. So I may actually put some lettuce, sprinkle some seeds at the base of these dahlias to try and grow lettuce. I'm just waiting on my seed order to get here. But I tried to get a bunch of heat-resistant lettuce. We'll see how it does. But we're going to take those. I'm just going to harvest the lettuce last. Now, all these dahlias are doing really, really well. I grew all of these dahlias in through here from seed. We've got double extreme dahlias and dinner plate dahlias and pom-pom dahlias. I don't know what any of these are going to look like for sure because they are from a seed packet that's a mixed variety. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these dahlias do and what colors they are. It's going to be a really awesome thing to see. Like that. Yay. See, these look like some of the smaller ones, like the double extremes. This is Clarkia right here. All of these flowers, those are Clarkia. And then we have some parsley that is going to seed. Over in the front, we have firecracker vine, which is almost long enough to climb up the trellis. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it because I need it to go this way. I need it to go above the parsley and beyond. So that goes there. That's my goal. So over here, you're gonna see more of the dahlias. This is some yarrow. I tried to get all the yarrow out of this bed and move it to another, but it likes it here, so. This is butterbib lettuce. It looks really good. I'm definitely, oh, see this? No, sir, that's a stink bug. It's now a dead stink bug. I just gross my kids out to high heaven when I do that, but I'm not gonna risk not having them ended. This is honeywort right here, and then we've got onions in the front. This is another view of those pixie lupins. I think these are really, really pretty. These are a perennial, so I'll probably use these in more landscaping around the property. Like I'm going to be doing all the landscaping around the pool. All right, so I haven't talked about this as much yet. I feel like other people do garden tours and they do a really good job of just sticking to the garden tour. And I do a garden tour and I'm like, gosh, my son looks amazing. My little firefighter dude. Yeah. All right, go find the bees. I'm really excited to be doing a lot of landscaping around the property. Brick Green Gardens is one of my favorite places. It's a really beautiful garden out here. It's about an hour from us. And I love the idea of combining beauty with edible landscaping. So I'm going to be even redoing the garden bed up in the front that I showed you to make it more aesthetically pleasing, where I have my lower plants in the front, middle plants in the middle, taller plants towards the back of it. So I'm going to be restructuring that, and then I got a bunch of new perennial plants from seed. I'm pretty big on trying to grow everything from seed myself, and I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to do a lot of landscaping around the property. Seth has given me the green light, so for me it's like Christmas. I can go around and just do whatever I want. So I'm going to do all landscaping for the pool. I'm going to be doing another rose section up in the front. I'm ready. A lot more of these containers. This is grass. I don't need this in here in my life. Like this is pink papaya grass right here that we're growing from seed. Lots of stuff like that. Anyhow, I'm really excited. These asparagus crowns are several years old, but we transplanted them this year. So we are letting them just go to flower. You can see there's lots of taller ones in through here. It's all kind of mixed in these beds. These are wild petunias. They look really, really beautiful. I kind of let these two beds be more of a flower area. This is echinacea right here, cone flower. Very medicinal. I'm very excited to see it growing and doing well. Now over here we've got blanket flower. This is a perennial and evergreen as well. Certain things are going to get moved out of these beds and into permanent locations in our landscaping, which I'm really excited for. These beauties right here, these are poppies that are coming up. This is self-heal. It's a very medicinal herb. It's very, very good for you. And then these are our double hollyhocks. They look outstanding. I'm so in love with the hollyhocks. They look great. Summer pastels yarrow here and here. This is an aster. This is valerian, which you know is very, very good for tea. You can see more of the summer pastels yarrow right here. It's getting, this one's going to be yellow. What's that? I'm really jumpy about whatever it is. Oh, they're just sweet peas that are mixed in. So yeah, these are sweet peas. These are not edible, but they're quite lovely. We're going to put some of these in the bouquet. They look really good. This is a perennial variety of sweet peas, so they're not as strongly scented as other varieties of sweet peas, but they look just as lovely and they make for a really beautiful trellis. So I'm excited about that. This right here is Greek oregano. And we've got a lot more chives up at the front of the house, but this is also a little section of chives. This is a volunteer zinnia, rudbeckia, crazy daisies, more rudbeckia, shasta daisies, and Italian oregano. This right here is celery that is going to seed. This is grass. Lamb's ear. So all these are looking really, really, really good. Now, all throughout here, we have strawberries coming up. Yeah, they're looking really good. So all of these strawberries look good. They go all the way down. Okay, love bug. These are banana melons. I had a banana melon that kind of exploded in this bed and just put seeds everywhere. So without a shadow of a doubt, that is what that is. This is an Italian pepperoncini. Some carrots in through here. You can kind of check the base of your carrots. Those aren't doing much, but that's okay. That's a Swiss chard. I am going to limit where the melons are allowed to grow. I'm actually going to take these ones out. There's a banana melon right there. That can be there. I don't want these interfering with my other plants right here. So you have got to go, friend. No more for you. Over and through here, these are poblano peppers. I do need to trellis these. Okay, this is a volunteer tomato. And at first I was like, yes, I'm going to let it grow and it's going to be great. But it is definitely infringing on my peppers. So now I'm having second thoughts because mostly I've just been planting the tomatoes on one side, which has really let me grow whatever else I want on the other side, and that's been really nice. But this is a volunteer and I left it, and I don't know. We'll have to see. It looks like it's a pink fang tomato. That's what that looks like to me. We'll have to see if it is or not. Let's see how these carrots are doing in here. Oh, you're beautiful. I love you. Wow. Look at that. That's gorgeous. You have impressed me, ma'am. But yeah, getting that giant carrot out of there will definitely open up space for more carrots. Wow. I get so excited when things grow well. Even though I've been doing this for forever, I still can't help it. It never ceases to amaze me that I grew that. All right, now in through here, these are guajillo peppers. This is another stink bug. I was actually trying to eat my tomato. You can see a teeny tiny little bit of damage right there. That's from the stink bug. Boo. Lovely. So yeah, all of these are guajillos. Nope, these are pancas. So it kind of goes in batches. So we have poblanos, guajillos, panca peppers. This one's trying to go to flower right here, and I might let it. I don't know what it is, but I'm probably going to let this one go to flower. You can tell because the stalk in the center has gotten really big and is starting to branch out. That's a flower. It wouldn't be really good to eat at this point anyways because of that fact, so there's no point. However, I will check the rest of these and see if there's anything worth pulling out of the ground. Now over in through here, this is a little batch of banana peppers. Don't those look amazing? We're going to pull some of those. Now over here on this side, I'm pretty sure, oh, I have a carrot in my boot. That's funny. What are you? These are sun golds in through here. And then we do have onions that are planted in the front right here. These are gonna, again, need to be kind of trellised. You can see we're starting to get blooms. Sun golds are really great, really lovely snacking tomato. Really, really nice. And all these look really good. They just need a little bit of trellising. Now, I will come through and do this bed, but I want to check the squash. Since I haven't been able to see it, this is my bed that has unknown tomatoes. That's wrong. They have unknown peppers in the front and then squash in the back. And I wanted to check the squash since I haven't been back here, but I noticed these little peppers. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put these in a separate basket because I don't know what they are, which means I need to go get a separate basket. These look like it could be serranos or tiny cayennes, so I'm interested to see what those grow into. We'll see how big they get. These look nice. These look like pancas over here. Green ones or guajillos. They look very similar. It just depends on their size, what they grow to. That's one of the best ways to tell when you don't know. These are all garlic plants in here. Typically we do a really massive garlic harvest, but the beds got just haggard, essentially. Like they got just destroyed. Oh, hello, potato bug. Goodbye, potato bug. And even though we had a lot more garlic in these beds, a lot of it got destroyed because of the dig up of everything. So there's a garlic right there, for example. You can see they're starting to brown and die back. So it shouldn't be too much longer before that they're full bulb potential. That one feels decent down there. It's hard because I want to take everything and just see it, but I shouldn't. I should leave it and do the right thing. This one looks like it's pretty much dead. Which is, okay, how surprising is it that teeny tiny thin stalk produced this garlic bulb and then tried to produce this right here? I'm quite impressed with that. Go baby garlic plant. Now I have no control and I'm just pulling up garlic. Whoops. It's that little one's fault. It was a bad influence on me. All right, so this is squash. And now that it is massively covered, I'm not going to be able to reach in and find the labels. This right here, that was a cucumber beetle. Cucumber beetles eat more than cucumbers. That's a stink bug. But yeah, squashes have these pokies on them, and I'm pretty allergic to it. I will get hives and stuff. So the responsible thing to do would be to go get gloves, but I'm not going to because I'm just too excited. The gray zucchini. can tell my little baby fruit down there. Hello, squash bug. Goodbye, squash bug. There are little garlics mixed in there, just not a ton. Let's see. Okay, this is a yellow summer squash, or it's a crookneck, one of the two. No, no rain. Those are grasshoppers, which will absolutely eat the plant. Good job, garlic. That's really exciting. I will remember that it's there and come back and get it. This, I would say, is dogwood fennel. Depends on how it smells. But I'm actually thinking it's a Cosmo. I had a ton of Cosmos all over in this area before, so I wouldn't be surprised if those Cosmos are Cosmos. That didn't make sense. Dogwood fennel and Cosmos look almost identical, except for some very subtle differences in their foliage. So Seth and I have actually gotten into debates over whether it's a dogwood fennel or whether it's a Cosmo flower in the garden. I think these are Cosmos. However, I mean, dogwood fennel has a very pungent odor, but I think these are Cosmos. I could be wrong though. Never say never. So we threw a bunch of pumpkins over for the sheep last year, and just look at this. And I'm hoping against all odds that the sheep leave all of this. These look like cuckoozy vines right here. I'm really hoping that they leave all of this. I don't think that they will, but I'd be really happy if they did. These look like cuckoozy vines. I'm almost certain that's what that is. And then more squash. I'd be really happy if the sheep left this alone. I don't know why there's a piece of wood in there. I'm gonna have to go get that out. They have so many water trays everywhere. They're all the way back at the end of the property behind our tree line over there, so you can't see them. They have all of this land, so hopefully they leave those alone. I'd be really excited if they did. These are volunteer. These right here are volunteer zinnias. And then this is a volunteer Schwarzenbeerenberry right there. More squash. I was all thinking I'd find a squash that I could have in here. This looks like yellow zucchini right there. I just want to harvest everything. I want it to continue to have this cool breeze that it has and just harvest everything. And I'm fine with that. So I did have some yellow pear tomatoes planted on this trellis. They're being abused by the squash, and I'm okay with that, because the truth is I really don't need that many salad tomatoes. If even one of these tomatoes decides to produce fruit, that'll be plenty of salad tomatoes, because these are yellow pears, those are blue creams, and then those are sun golds, which is a sufficient amount of salad cherry, which is a sufficient amount of cherry tomatoes. It does mean I could possibly finagle some more stuff in here. So these are blue creams. This is an onion. I mean, how do you not take this onion? I was all, I'm gonna let it go to seed. I am a liar. I lied to you guys. But I mean, look at that onion. There's no way. I love you. This side right here, we've got some Megatron jalapenos, which is my favorite variety of jalapeno. Here and here and here. Look at that. Hello, beautiful. I'm going to eat you. And here. And then this little section right here, this is Visante's sweet habaneros. These are Mad Hatter peppers, and then back in through here we've got a lot more Megatrons. I just planted these in not too long ago. I have a video for you on that. It'll be coming out very soon. These are Serranos, if it hasn't already come out. Who knows what I'm doing. So this is going to have to be dug up. This is a wonderful, wonderful berry. I believe it's called Beauty Berry. And it clearly got here from seeds. Beauty Berry is delicious and it makes really beautiful berries. I'm going to dig it up and I'm going to put it in a container because I can use it as edible landscaping, which would be good because I don't need a giant berry bush in my turnover garden beds, which is what these are. Now over here, I don't know what these are. These are some sort of squash, which is fine. And then I have some red warty pumpkins down here at the end. Come over and around. These are Abe Lincoln tomatoes growing in through here. They're definitely not thrilled about the water damage. I'm getting some yellowing on my leaves. And that's really what it is. It's water damage. It's excessive watering and they're kind of drowning a little bit. So hopefully the rain lets up this week and gives the soil a chance to dry off pretty deep. Kids don't love that. Over here in front of this trellis, this has our loofahs on it. This is our loofah trellis on both sides going down right there. Those are great. And then if we come over and around, these are bush beans. And then we've got onions all around the outside. Some of these look really nice. These are going in really lovely. I'm really excited. And there are peppers in the back, like with most of these. These are Sargia giant chocolate peppers. And these are, look at that. Ooh, yay. I can harvest that and not feel bad about it. Look how big that is. Woohoo. Yay. All right, we're definitely going to harvest some beans if we can. Those look really good. And then, yeah, poor Sarge. I might need to stake these and kind of, I'm probably going to grab some stakes and a little bit of rope and kind of push the beans more over this way so they're not laying directly on top of these peppers right here. Yay, I'm excited. We're going to harvest these and then we'll definitely kind of adjust these so they're not attacking the other peppers quite as much. Over and through here, we've got cucamelons. They're coming up. These could definitely be, well, almost. They could almost definitely be trellised at this point. This is borage, blue borage. Tastes like a cucumber. It is an edible flower. You can use it in your cooking if you want to. Tastes a lot like a cucumber. This is my trellis of tomatoes that I don't know what they are. I lost my labels for them, so they're kind of a mixed bag. They could be anything. These are ones that I will not save seeds from. I didn't trellis this one up in this weather that we've had, and it broke. So that whole section came off, which is kind of a bummer, but that's my own fault for not attaching it to the cattle panels, which I need to do with the rest of these so I don't have any more loss like that. I would be very happy to not have any more loss. Now over here, this is our passion fruit. We have it on the opposite side of the Malabar red spinach, and it's taking off. It's going to town right now, doing really, really good. And these are royal burgundy bush beans. They're really, really beautiful. They're a lovely purple color. This is another passion fruit vine that's in the middle of my bush beans, which is not good for my bush beans. So we're going to have to remove that. And this one. Got some basil that's already flowering back there, so I will harvest that. I'll be excited to look through these. I don't expect there to be many beans on these ones that are ready to harvest, but it'd be cool if there were a couple. Now we've got peas all along this back trellis. We're going to go ahead and harvest the peas in just a second. This surprised me. This cabbage really took what I said and took it as a personal insult, because last week this was starting to floof out as though it was going to seed. And this cabbage was like, oh yeah, lady, well, guess what? I'm actually going to be the best cabbage you could ever see. This right here is a golden acre cabbage. I'm going to harvest this. That is a Coeur de Bleu cabbage right there. We're going to harvest that one. I mean, I'm just really surprised at the cabbages in through here. I'm probably going to harvest most of them, to be honest with you. And the outer leaves, I will go ahead and use as a substitution for collards. And the inner ones I will use as cabbage. This is a red acre cabbage. This is a lettuce that is going to seed. This one right here is Paris Island lettuce. You can see some of these cabbages are really getting attacked, and that's one of the reasons I think it would be really beneficial to go ahead and harvest as many of the cabbages as possible. Now over here, these are solar flare tomatoes, which are hanging out at the base of our peas. The peas won't last too much longer, and then these will get a lot more sunlight, which will be good. It'll help them really grow and take off. Some carrots over here. Just looking outstanding. This is dark purple opal basil. Now this is one of the melon beds. We have a whole bunch of cucumbers up in the front. These are, oh, these are garden sweet cucumbers right here. And then we have, what are you? These are baked alphas, which are just about long enough to climb up the trellis. And we have some cucamelons in through here. Go over the melons in the next garden tour, give those a little bit more time. And then over here we have some dark green serpent melons, which is a great cucumber substitute. And then as we come down, we have some Tokyo green cucumbers, all getting long enough to finally climb up the trellis or start to. On through here, we've got lots of kale. I'm going to harvest a good bit of this. I'm going to harvest it closer to the top and just grab the leaves, because then I won't really have to shuck it as much, which would be nice, you know, removing the stems from it. But I like to have kale and lettuce in my salads. I feel like that adds a good bit of variety, and it also stretches the lettuce since we're kind of low on it right now. What is this? I've just seen the world's biggest carrot.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't even know what to say to this. Whoa. Do you see the size of this carrot?
Dude.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're not gonna believe this carrot I just pulled. Yeah, that's insanity. This is Paris Island lettuce. We're gonna harvest this. This is my favorite variety of lettuce. Are you ready for this? What is that? Oh my gosh. These carrots are on steroids and I love it. It's hilarious. That one's a bit more reasonable. This is cilantro. Cilantro is one of my favorite herbs. So I figured I'd show you guys really quickly. I have this stainless steel tray right here, and what I'm doing, I'm gonna take the hose and I'm gonna hose these off. And after they're all hosed off, I'm going to cut the root that I want to take into the house into one basket, the greens into another, and we're going to take the greens right over to the sheep in 1 second. And I'm going to continue this. All right, you guys, that is going to wrap up this garden tour. I will see you in the next one.